Is Brie Larson a shape-shifting alien? If you were a shape-shifting space alien and you had infiltrated planet Earth and you wanted to hide in plain sight, wouldn't it be a great idea to star in a movie about shape-shifting aliens where you were the hero? Food for thought. Is Brie Larson a shape-shifting alien? Find out now on The Totally Fracking Insane Show.
Excuse me, miss. Why are you dressed for laser tag?
Oh boy, you guys don't have any clue, do you? I'm here to stop the shapeshifters that are infiltrating your planet.
Captain Marvel. You know you're glowing, right?
That's what we look like to them because this is all a computer simulation that basically was created long ago. Those planets out there are already conquered and simulated, which is why there's only us.
Is he okay?
I just changed my mind. I think Greg is an alien. I think you're the alien.
Well, I am a shape-shifting lizard.
Okay, well,
now
anyway.
You're going to encourage people.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a little bit more on the completely far outside and is definitely crazier than some of my earlier videos, to say the least. Now, I've been doing a lot of videos trying to figure out exactly what is happening on this planet because there's so much insanity, everything that you see in the news, the never-ending wars, you know, just all the really negative, bad things that have been happening on the planet. I've been doing investigations and I've been coming out with different videos, and I admit some of them seem to be completely crazy and out there, you know, especially when I start talking about how there's an extraterrestrial demonic force that has taken over the planet and controls everything so that they can harvest people from the never-ending war zones. Okay, so I do admit I've come up with some really crazy videos. Okay, now this one is just as crazy, but you know, with everything that's been going on the planet, I think it's not too far out there to say, you know, let's start to think about things that we're being told that are impossible. Well, we're not being told that they're impossible, but if you try to say that, you know, for example, there's a demonic extraterrestrial presence on this planet that's controlling the governments and having humans war with each other, creating never-ending wars so that they can literally hide the harvest and feed off of humans. You know, who controls the government, who controls the media, who controls the narrative, you know, who controls literally the news, the fake news. And then if you think about the concept of fake news and then you look at our history and you could say, well, you know, with the amount of fake news that is out there right now, who is to say what is even true in the history books? I mean, all of our history could be, you know, misconstrued or completely just fake, fabricated. But that's not the point. The point is that this video is going to look at the concept of shape-shifting aliens. I know, start laughing right now. Shape-shifting aliens. I mean, I can't even not laugh.
So, Skrulls are the bad guys.
They're shapeshifters. Shapeshifters.
From a world unknown comes a nightmare unimagined. First, they are under you, around you, on you, and then inside you.
They get in through your mouth and you walk around while they incubate.
On top of shape-shifting aliens, the possibility that there could be some kind of parasitic creature that could literally be infecting large swaths of society, and that they've infiltrated, you know, the upper echelons of society and are controlling the planet. You know, I'm talking literally parasitic tapeworm type of things that can, you know, crawl into the body, crawl up the spinal cord, inject themselves into the actual brain and literally take over the body and take control of the human host.
What's this? You didn't notice this?
What? Notice what?
Major!
And literally, you know, take over sections of society and manage to manipulate and control society that way. And of course, you have the idea of the shapeshifters, where they can literally, if they see you, or if they touch you, or if they taste your DNA, you know, like for example, if they drink your blood, then they can literally shapeshift into a creature that looks identical to whoever they're trying to mimic. So, I know these are some quite far-fetched ideas.
What kind of creature is she?
I've never seen anything like her.
There is mention in the Galactic Zoological Catalog of a species called a lasomorph, which is supposed to possess the power to alter their molecular structure into other life forms.
And, it would explain a lot, like, for example, what if the Pope was literally, replaced with a shape-shifting, demon who is controlling the religious sector for the purposes of harvesting orphans from orphanages? Or, the shapeshifters replace, for example, the presidents of the world, etc. These are not completely far out ideas, and in fact there's been tons of sci-fi movies and fictional dramatizations of this very concept.
Include an on-screen version of Secret Invasion? That classic crossover in the comics revealed that the Skrulls had used their shape-shifting powers to infiltrate Earth for years as part of a long-term invasion plan.
Many people wanted to take over the Earth at some point in time. The Skrulls, however, being a conquering kind of species, believed that the planet was rightfully theirs. For years, they would slowly start replacing heroes on Earth with a Skrull imposter, and let them function as their human counterpart would normally act for years on end. Spider-Woman was the first to be replaced prior to the events of House of M, a widely popular arc that launched in 2005, 10 years before Secret Invasion would release. This is evidence enough that the Skrulls are a patient species, willing to wait years in order to execute their plans, preferring to use slow, manipulative tactics to catch their targets off guard. Considering the MCU film Captain Marvel took place in '95 and introduced Earth to the Skrulls, could the Skrulls have begun an infiltration campaign 13 years before Tony Stark announced to the world that he was Iron Man?
Now, recently a movie came out called Captain Marvel, and there's creatures in the movie that are called Skrulls, and they're these alien reptilian beings that can shapeshift into humanoid forms, and so they can look exactly like, for example, say George Bush is the president. They can look at George Bush and literally, just by sight memory, they can literally take on his shape and possibly even infiltrate, his security team, and then, they could literally replace him. Now, that's obviously just a fictional example, but, or maybe it's not, but now the craziest thing is this could be happening, and it could be that this has been happening for a very long time, that there's been, extraterrestrials on this planet, whether they be shapeshifters or some kind of parasitic infiltration that is literally invading the planet by these parasites inhabiting bodies and taking over the human that they inhabit. And then also they could be internally reproducing and multiplying so that they can then spit out, whatever, whether it be a slug or some kind of worm. They can infect other people, and then slowly they can be literally taking over large portions of society. For what purpose? Whether they want to control, for whatever purpose. They could literally be doing this so that they can serve a master that eats humans. Who knows? Now, anyways, going back to this Captain Marvel movie, in the movie, they talk about alien shapeshifters that are taking over key sectors of society. The interesting thing is, the main character in Captain Marvel is Brie Larson, okay? Now, there's been a lot of controversy about Brie Larson being a social justice warrior and this, that, and the other thing. That I can just leave alone, okay? The thing that's interesting, though, is that there's been a lot of talk about the shapeshifters who can potentially take over another person. They don't have the same memories of the person that they're replacing, okay? So, in Star Trek, there's a test where Captain Picard is asked a couple of questions that only him and the person that he's talking to would know the answer to, because they're obscure, not really notable occurrences in the past that only they would know about. Now, Captain Kirk passed the test, and they realized that he is who he says he was.
Answer the question.
Tau Ceti 3. It's a bar. Quite an exotic one, as I remember. What do I win?
Do you recall the night you introduced Jack Crusher to Beverly?
know full well that I hadn't met Beverly then. You introduced them.
My brother introduced them.
You don't have a brother. 2 sisters, Anne and Melissa. What the hell is all this about?
Now, Brie Larson, okay, who was just in a movie about shapeshifters taking over the planet and impersonating people, was on a talk show with Ellen and Scarlett Johansson, and when she was asked about things in her past that are very, you know, trivial, like how did you and Scarlett Johansson meet, she doesn't actually know. And one of the things that they mentioned in the clip with Captain Kirk is that the imposters will try to bluff their way through past memories and past interrogations about past occurrences. And that's exactly what she just does on the talk show.
Damn it, Jean-Luc, I tell you that some of Starfleet's top command people are changing. This could affect the very core of our organization. Officers I've known for years are bluffing their way through talk of old times.
That's their weakness. A lack of memory.
How long did you know each other before this movie got underway?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Where did you meet, and how long have you known each other? I want to hear the whole story. Did you text each other? Did you hang out?
We did. You don't remember how we met?
I do. I thought you
How
did.
did we meet?
At dinner?
No.
Yes, we did.
We did. Clearly, it made an impression on me, but somebody else didn't care.
We had dinner on New Year's Eve.
We worked together.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's true.
No, it was bad.
I didn't
Shame
think
on
about
you.
that because I just felt like I was basically a glorified extra and you were Scarlett Johansson. So I just was like, wow.
What movie?
I noticed you, Brie. I noticed
Wow,
What
that's so
movie?
true.
you. You are not a glorified extra. We did this movie called Don John that was directed by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and we did a couple of scenes together.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man.
You worked more with.
Wow.
And then she happens to also be in a movie about shapeshifters impersonating people. I just find it way too coincidental. So I wanted to throw in a couple of clips here and just throw the idea out that there could be churches, okay, not necessarily just the Catholic Church, but there could be other churches whose leadership has literally been replaced and infiltrated, and then that person is acting like a complete insane psychopathical person, and nobody really understands WTF why is that person behaving the way they are. Now, you know, going back to Brie Larson, not only did she not know when she met Scarlett Johansson, and she tried to play it off, and you know, she actually did a very good job at playing it off. And obviously these creatures, you know, if they are intergalactic dominating races, they're very intelligent, so they're not stupid, okay? And you can clearly see, let's just fictionalize Brie Larson, the person who has replaced Brie Larson, or the entity that's replaced Brie Larson, is not a stupid person, and they are able to look at the records and see, you know, they're going to do a whole investigation about that person's life, including if they're having a talk show with a person that they had met, that they were supposed to have met. You know, they would do their research to know that if they're interacting with that person, to be as caught up as possible. You know, obviously they don't know all the little intricate details, and that's exactly where she got caught.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure where I end up in my origin story. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, how could you? Because you hadn't really. It was backwards, sort of.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're not smart people. In fact, if they're intergalactic dominators, they're probably highly intelligent. Highly intelligent meaning probably a lot smarter than we are. So not only did Brie Larson not quite remember when she met Scarlett Johansson, which she handled very, very well, but at the end of the day, she failed the test. And on top of that, there's been talk about her body language. She acts like, literally, there's headlines saying that she has bad body language and she acts like a psychopath, right? Now, we have heard from whistleblowers and insiders who claim to have been involved in secret government programs about cloning and stuff, that certain clones, okay, I know this is sounding really, really crazy, but certain clones they're raised by humans because they act like psychopaths. Like, literally, one of the traits of a clone is that they act like psychopaths.
So that the children would become more human, because if they're always brought up with sentient, non-emotional entities, they won't be able to fit into society.
So you know, it's very interesting that not only did she fail her test on remembering a very trivial but very important point in her life, and that is when she met her co-star, but then she also has these rumored reports of her being a psychopath. And she happens to be in a movie about shapeshifters impersonating humans. So, I mean, you know, the irony level is, you know, way up high. Anyways, I really just wanted to put this video together just to give some... Now, don't take this video too seriously. I just wanted to put this video together to just highlight the possibility, on top of the fact that there could be, you know, reptile, alien, space invader demons, you know, the Draco could be here controlling the planet and creating wars so that they can literally harvest humans from the never-ending war zones. And they could be infiltrating, you know, the churches so that they can literally harvest children from the orphanages. You know, there's also the possibility that there are shapeshifters that are also on this planet manipulating and controlling not just the highest ranks of government and corporations and the media, but now they're infiltrating into the entertainment sector and into the entertainment business to try to manipulate, you know, the entire mindset of the planet. Okay, so with all of that said, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but I just wanted to front load your mind with the idea that it's not impossible. And there is a possibility that there are shapeshifters or clones or, you know, parasitic entities that have hijacked and have taken control of humans. And, you know, obviously it sounds insane, but if they control everything, including the media, the news, the history, you know, we would not be the wiser. They could literally all be going, you know, into a certain building. And then once they get in that building, which is, you know, behind 5 or 6 different levels of security, they could all just take off their masks and, you know, shapeshift back to their natural form. And then, you know, they would obviously shapeshift into the form that they needed to be and do their research about exactly who they have to be and what they have to know before they come out of that building, whether it be an underground bunker, a military base, a high-rise building standing right in plain open, you know, right, hiding in plain sight, you know, who knows? Okay, so I think I've rambled enough. You know, take this all with a grain of salt and realize that this is all possible. It's not beyond the limits of possibility, because the universe is a naturally occurring crystal core quantum computer, and that means that the technology to shapeshift does exist. The universe is not purely physical. There is a very, very, you know, as solid as the universe is 1,000 times more metaphysical than it is physical. Consciousness, the consciousness realm, is a much larger component to the overall universe than the actual physical structure that we recognize as, you know, matter. Okay? So it is possible. Just wanted to let you guys know that this was on my mind, and there is a possibility that Brie Larson is a shape-shifting alien. Thanks for watching. In my opinion, thank you.